Welcome everyone. Good morning. We're going to get right into the stock market charts, point out a couple trade ideas, and we'll cover the broad markets. I did a live session on Saturday, so for everyone that joined, I hope you found some value in that. If you didn't join, feel free to join on Saturday. We do it about 10 o'clock Pacific time and go through all kinds of subscriber stock picks, usually pretty good session. And there's oftentimes really good trade ideas that come out of those Saturday sessions. So feel free to join. And let's get right into the charts. Again, before I get started though, guys, if you haven't done so already, just hit that little thumb button. I'll just give you a second. Click it. It helps the channel and also motivates me to continue to put out the videos. So thank you for that. All right, we're going to start out with triple Qs. All right, I don't see anything really going on in triple Qs. I see a back test, a potential back test right now. And so here's the general things I'm watching. Triple Qs are coming off the March 2020 lows. You can see that we held, here's this trend line right there. We've just been walking up that trend line. I know I got a lot of lines all over the place, but these are just various levels. But right now, I'm just focused on this trend line. You can see we broke down. We had a sell signal, and we're coming up for a back test. So Qs, I think at this point, from what I can tell, looks like it's going to go a little higher and probably make a new divergent high. So I'd expect us to run up and get into this area, popping above these recent highs, making a new all-time high, which would be a divergent high and a full back test of that trend line. I'll be interested in potentially shorting the Qs up around that level if we get up there, of course. But some of the things I want to watch for is what happens to the financials. So here's XLF and the daily chart. You can see this uptrend line right there. We just continue to grind higher, slowly grinding, not breaking down. So I want to see this break too. I think a lot of these index shorts are going to have a much better probability of working out if you see some of these key sectors break down. And so financials has been strength in the market, and we just haven't seen that breakdown. Now, we do have negative divergence on the RSI and the PPO, and so it's telling us that we're likely going to break this trend, but we haven't broke yet. So waiting for that sell signal on that one. Also, the industrials, which has been another strong sector. This is basically the reopening trade. This is pretty much front and center, the reopening trade. And you can see bullish trend there. We have not broke that trend. Now, we do have negative divergence right there on the PPO and not really there on the RSI. I wouldn't say it's there completely on the RSI on the daily. So mixed signals on that one, but we haven't broken trend either, so no sell signal on that one. Flipping back, we'll go over to the S&P 500. So again, this is the broader market. Tech has broken down, and it looks like we're back testing. And the SPY broke down. This green trend line is coming off your March 2020 lows. Held support. We finally broke, but because those other sectors, the financials, the industrials, haven't really broken down, and then tech is rallying and back testing. The SPY is back testing as well. You can see we broke down, back test, break down, back test, and we continue to bounce. That's two. We bounced off this red trend line right here twice. You can see hit it and the buyers are there. We hit it, the buyers are there. That red trend line, that just continues to validate my weekly trend line that I've been watching for many years now. But here's 2009 lows, and here's the support on the weekly. So this is your bullish trend. We broke bullish trend in 2018. And had a kickback rally in 2019, early 2020, got the COVID drop, another kickback rally. And here's where they're at right now. They've kind of recovered that trend line. They're trying to build recovery. And you can see here, both weeks that we hit that trend line, the buyers stepped in right there. So until that trend line goes, bigger picture, you don't have, a breakdown or a false breakout. But if that trend line does go, we see some sort of impulsive selling come in. That means that this high right up in here was going to be, that would mean that's a false breakout or a bull trap, and we're likely going to go a lot lower. But until we see it, it's just not there. So no real shorts right now. I talked about last week on the index shorts. I'm just kind of flat on these. I'm kind of looking for a potential back test of the Qs, make a new divergent high, and then roll over. But again, I'm going to watch those financials, industrials. I want to see weakness in some of the other sectors show up and the selling start to show up. Yeah, so that's what I'm watching on the general indices. Let's look at some trade ideas. Okay, first one we'll look at Snap. All right, so Snap, I have it the whole trade kind of laid out here, but basically you had an uptrend line right here in Snap. We made a divergent high. See the new high in price, but on lower momentum. So you have negative divergence on the momentum indicators. We broke trend. There's a sell signal. You back test, break down. And you can see we're making a series of lower highs and lower lows. So you can see there's your high. There's a lower high, kind of an equal high, lower high. And now we're up, testing the trend line. So if I go to the hourly, you can see there's your trend line coming off the highs. I might be off just slightly. We can adjust it just a little bit. It's basically right in here. And you can see we're running right into that resistance. So that's an objective area to short because we ran right into resistance. And I think it's likely we're going to continue the downtrend. We haven't even hit the 200-day moving average. So I believe that we're going to get rejected in this area. Run down, hit the 200-day moving average, probably get a bounce there. But ultimately still looking to fill the gap. So that's an objective area to add or take a short position, in my opinion. DraftKings, a little bit more to go, but DraftKings, you have this daily trend line right here that held support. We finally broke that trend right here, and we did it with big negative divergence. Negative divergence has been building in this stock for a while. So we broke. And we're running up to do a back test, it looks like, of that trend line. So up in that area is where the objective area to short would be at. We got a little ways to go, but I just want to point it out in case we get up there. That's still another 8-9% up there. But if you get up there, that's likely where the stock's going to reject. Now, keep in mind, they're likely going to pop the level a little bit. They'll probably ramp it up through there and make it look like it's going to recover and then fail. One way to play it is just, if it pops above that trend line, let it kind of do its thing and wait for that failure. If you see that failure show up, then that would be your sell signal or your trigger to enter a short position. Next, and then you trade it down to support, which looks like about 35.52. Toll Brothers continues to look okay to the downside. You can see here on Toll, we've got a daily uptrend line right there, just walking up that trend line. Up here, we made a divergent high, so there's a high price, but on lower momentum. See the RSI and the PPO, how it's lower momentum. So I've got it marked out as a downtrend, basically. And then we broke trend. So there's your nice, clean sell signal. Let me zoom in right here. There's your sell signal, impulsive breakdown. You backtest and continue to trend lower. And as it looks like we're just continuing to trend lower. We make a low, make a lower high, a lower low, a lower high. And now you continue to work our way lower. So I think we're heading down to $50, right around 51, $50. And I'm continuing to trade that. That looks good to the downside. Here's one, JCI. Now, we don't have a sell signal right now, but you've got a nice clean uptrend coming off the March 2020 lows. And, we're still above trend. We're still trending higher. So no reason to short, but big negative divergence on the daily showing up on the PPO and the RSI. So I'm waiting for that sell signal or a break of trend. I think it's going to come soon. When that shows up, that would be your sell signal. Support down here at about 48, we'll call it. And you also have the 200-day moving average slightly above. And I'm watching this Ally Financial, ALLY, and also Wells Fargo looks really good. No sell signal, but clear uptrend line coming off the March 2020 lows, just been moving higher. No reason to short this thing right now. It's still above trend, but negative divergence is clearly there on the daily, on the PPO and the RSI, telling us that we're likely going to break trend soon. So we're just waiting for that sell signal and waiting for that impulsive breakdown. We don't have it yet, but if we get it, then next, first level support looks to be about 42.93. And I know it doesn't look like much, but let's say we break trend today. That's a potential 20%, 18.5% drop just to that first support level. And then the next support level that I can see is all the way down here at about 33.23. So again, could be, you know, when we get that sell signal, that will signal a reversal in trend. We could, you know, run all the way down to the bottom there. Wells Fargo looks very similar. Uptrend line coming off this is coming off of the October 2020 area, but clear uptrend line, negative divergence on the RSI and the PPO, but still above trend. So we're waiting for that sell signal. First level support, 4150 area. And corn and wheat are the two that are kind of looking interesting. We're coming down to this trend line support. So here's corn. The trend line I got is right about here. And, you know, I'm looking for some more downside in corn all the way down to this area, depending on what, you know, if we get there. Major support right in there. So still kind of working its way lower. And that's kind of the buy zone is right in there. So I just want to point that out. You know, I see it down around $18. We could even go all the way down to $17.50. That would be the buy zone. Wheat looks to be like it's going to sell off down to about $6.17, $6.20, depending on when we actually get there. That's the trend line coming off this recent uptrend line right there. So that's where the support's at, and that's where I'm looking to buy. We're also at support right now, and you can see this trend line, this horizontal trend line at 654. So we could stop here. We might bounce here. That is support. Something to take note of. So one way to potentially trade it, because these commodities are in a bull market, you could buy some wheat here. If it breaks, maybe add down at the lower trend line. Again, everything in this channel, just my opinion. I'm just pointing out the things I see in the charts. I'm not giving financial advice. I'm not really giving trading advice. It's just what I'm seeing and how I potentially trade things. And that's really all I got right now this morning. I was kind of waiting a little bit just to see if anything popped up. I'm just pointing out maybe some potential areas that look interesting. So I'll keep an eye on anything else, and I'll let you guys go. See you on the next one.